All right, bro.
Yo,
What's good with you?
I've been good. What about you?
Good, man. The meat has been feeling really good.
Really?
The last 3 weeks I've been eating meat, and
Yeah.
I think it's definitely been a great decision that I made. It's definitely difficult to think about what I'll be doing going forward, just because I think definitely from what I've read and when I talk to people, including you, there are a lot of nutrients and everything you get from meat that you just don't get from a vegetarian diet. So that's obviously one thing that I was considering when I switched, but I think another thing that I don't know if I shared with you before, but one of the problems that I've had at Peddie is that most of the vegetarian options are primarily based in soy. Mm-hmm. And the problem with soy is that it's really high in estrogen. And you know estrogen, right? So the hormone that reduces your testosterone. And I think any hormone that acts as a testosterone blocker is bad in and of itself for just how you feel, but I also think that can impede your ability to gain muscle. Because testosterone is one of the hormones in our body that helps us to gain muscle as well. And I wonder, has me eating soy every day for the last 4 years impeded my ability to gain muscle?
Yeah.
And that's something that my friend brought up and it just hit me. Like, I knew it before, but I never put the two and two together. And it started to make sense to me that maybe I've been poisoning myself for 4 years. But yeah, I started eating chicken and fish, and I think I've definitely felt better, maybe because of the testosterone and stuff like that. But I'm glad I made that switch.
Yeah, so actually there's like estrogen in a lot of foods that you eat. Like even milk, it contains a lot of estrogen as well. It's kind of something you can't really avoid in modern diet, I guess. But I don't think it takes away from the fact that there's other nutrients. Like in milk you get like calcium, you get lots of protein, and you even get like other hormones as well that can make you like grow and put on more muscle or height if you're still getting taller. So in plant-based foods, if there's other nutrients and stuff, I don't think you could say that it's like completely bad for you, but it is pretty interesting to consider because I feel like soy has been like such a big like buzzword kind of in the fitness community. Like there's a lot of people saying that like soy is going to completely kill your gains and stuff like that. But I think it's a bit overhyped, but there's some truth to it. I'm not sure.
When you say that milk is high in estrogen, is that all types of milk, or does it also depend on how the cow is fed and how the milk is packaged? Because I know a big part of the problem with milk is like the fact that it's like processed and everything in plastic, which is another problem. But I know that milk itself has that problem as well. But is that based on how the cow is fed, or do you think all milk has that?
I can't 100% say off the top of my head if it's all milk, but I know that it's like from the cow. It's not from, because there's some plastics and other chemicals that can mimic estrogen. So it's not from the processing. I think it's from the milk itself contains estrogen. So
let me Google that.
Yeah, it might be a bit hard to avoid.
Yeah, that's interesting. But to your point that a lot of foods contain estrogen, I do agree with that, and I don't think the goal is to avoid it because men produce estrogen as well, just like women produce testosterone. It's just the degree to which you produce it, and I think there's a difference between having a little bit of estrogen in your diet through different food items versus having soy as your primary nutrient source as well, considering that's what it was for me at Peddie for so long. Not at home. I didn't eat soy at home, but that's definitely been prevalent at Peddie. Let me see. So milk, estrogen, let's see. Yeah, so estrogen sulfate, the main estrogen in milk, is about 30 times as abundant in milk from pregnant cows than in milk from non-pregnant cows. And the amount of estrogen increases during the later stages of pregnancy. So maybe it's like when the cow is in a certain stage of pregnancy, it says.
I'm not an expert, but I feel like they need to have the cow pregnant to make milk.
Yeah,
so.
that might be true as well.
Yeah.
That's interesting, but I don't really drink milk.
Yeah.
That's not really a choice kind of thing, but I've always struggled to drink milk. I don't know why that is. I'm not lactose intolerant because I don't like shit when I drink milk, and I can have cheese and stuff, but I just like drinking and I gag, which is kind of weird. But I've never had milk. But I will say that since I started eating chicken, I have gained a lot of weight, but that's it's too soon to really say anything.
Short term. Maybe it just tastes really good. You're eating more, not just because it's a different type of food.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to eat a lot at Peddie though, but there were a few days last week where I was having like 4 plates for dinner a day. I was crazy. Today, the last 2 days I've been slacking a little bit. I didn't really like the chicken last night though. They tried to make the Indian butter chicken, which was not good, but today was okay. It's not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Yeah, but back to the food thing, like there's like a lot of plants that have estrogen in it, and you can't really cut them out of your diet completely.
Which type of plants would you say?
Was it sweet potatoes or something like that? You can search this up. You should probably pull it up. I don't want to say something that's inaccurate.
You're right.
Pull up, okay, sweet potatoes and maybe grapefruit. I don't know. There's probably more.
So many sorts of vegetables that are high in estrogen?
Yeah, just there's a lot of them.
Alright, it says here, so top foods high in estrogen. Flax seeds, soy, peaches, peaches, garlic, red wine, tamarind red wine, sesame seeds. What is this? Okay, this is probably what you're talking about. Cruciferous vegetables. Vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and kale contain phytoestrogens with anti-cancer and so this is like, I'm saying it's pretty good. Which it is good, which I think you should definitely, like nuts as well. Like, it says nuts here, but you should be eating nuts as well. But again, I don't think you should stress about it. I mean, the other point you're making about the buzzword, like, that's how things go, especially with the internet.
Yeah.
Trends are just popular these days because people need stuff to make videos about and people need things to talk about, like we're kind of doing right now. So I can understand if it's part of a trend, but I have seen certain influencers go on another extreme with the carnivore diet, which I've heard a lot of positive things.
What are your thoughts on that?
I can't give an opinion on it based on experience because I've never gone in it, but from people that have gone the carnivore diet that I follow, it's been pretty positive, right? I just think in terms of how you feel on a day-to-day basis, they report that their testosterone levels are a lot higher. They feel a lot better throughout the day, which I can definitely see if you're not eating carbs. One of the person I'm thinking about that comes to mind, he still eats carbs, but he chose one carb source, which is like sweet potatoes that he added, and he has, I think, a 7-ingredient diet, which is primarily like meat, eggs, and very low in carby foods. And I definitely want to try it out one day, because apparently, even
carnivore. That's such a switch. You've seen like both ends of the
Not right now, maybe 10 years from now. I mean, right now, since I'm bulking, I don't think carnivore is as optimal, but I think what carnivore is useful for is for your brain health in terms of mental clarity, because the problem with a lot of other types of food that have all the other ingredients and carbs is just it makes your brain kind of slow down a little bit. But yeah, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, as an aside, I think going back to something you mentioned, which is like estrogen is pretty useful in men as well, and one of those things is brain development, and you need estrogen for proper brain development, and without it you're going to be pretty messed up. Like, I've seen lots of like stories online about like bodybuilders. They take a drug, it's an aromatase inhibitor, which prevents like testosterone from converting to estrogen in men that take it, and so they basically have very low estrogen levels, and one of the things they notice is like mental side effects, like they feel like shit all day because of that. So yeah,
well, that's also because when you're using a drug, it puts it at such an heightened state that it's going to be very different from your normal level of hormone release. Even if, for example, you have a level 10 of testosterone, level 1 in estrogen on a normal basis, that's probably going to put it at like a level 0 estrogen, level 100 testosterone, right? That's taking it to a different extreme, I think. But definitely I don't think is it possible to go on that kind of extreme with just diet? Because I think estrogen is definitely important, but I don't think by removing like milk or removing soy from your diet, it's gonna create like so much of a divide.
No, definitely not. Like, your body is like always self-regulating. Like, the reason why like eating estrogenic foods or taking estrogen will lower your testosterone is because it's like a feedback system in your body. Because in men, like, we get most of our estrogen from testosterone converting into estrogen, and so when our bodies see like a high level of estrogen, it'll tell our body that we just stop producing testosterone because we don't want any more of that. We don't want testosterone converting into estrogen. It means we should stop.
Interesting.
So like there's like a cycle in your body that will tell you when like too high hormones, like when is that too much, your body will stop automatically. Like food can influence like small shifts in like your lifestyle, how much sleep you get can influence it as well, but to really get big changes, yeah, you're gonna probably be on some kind of like steroid or drugs or something.
Yeah, I think those internal regulations of your body is also really cool. I mean, we learned about it in AP Bio. I was doing an FRQ about it today, like how when some type of molecule goes so high in concentration, there's different enzymes that block it and stuff. I think the whole way our body is designed is so interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. What were we talking about?
About estrogen?
Oh, no. Carnivore diet, right?
Oh yeah, carnivore diet.
Right. I think the main concern I have for that is like cleanliness.
What do you mean?
Like even raw fish, like it kind of freaks me out because like there could be parasites in sushi and stuff.
It doesn't have to be raw, right?
Huh?
It doesn't have to be raw. You could still cook it.
That's true. I'm talking about, okay, yeah, like pure carnivore diet, I think I'm not like...
What is pure carnivore diet?
Like just any meat.
Only?
Yeah, just only meat. I'm talking about like raw carnivore. That kind of
raw carnivore
puts me off. If you're only eating meat and it's cooked meat, I have no idea. I don't think there's enough studies on that, and I don't think I know enough to say anything to say it's bad or good.
I'm sure there's studies, I haven't read about it.
Yeah. I think it's a new thing. It's like a new trend. Like back in the day, like I don't think people could afford to do that. It's only now that we can afford to only eat meat.
Still, I don't think still a lot of people can afford to have like organic, healthy meat.
Exactly.
I mean, I just started reading this book called Ultra Processed People, which it's a pretty good book because it's informative and enjoyable because there's stories in it. And whenever I find a book that's really informative and it has stories in it that I enjoy reading, that's when I know I found like a pretty good book. But, one of the stats, what was the stat that I was reading? In the US and the US and the UK have the lowest. It's a little bit off topic, but it's kind of related. The US and the UK have the lowest percentage of their household income invested into food.
Really?
Yeah, I think I don't remember which one was worse, but one of the countries was 6% of household income was invested in food, versus other Western countries such as Switzerland and Sweden have about 12 to 14% of their household income invested in food. And that can show us two things. One, obviously countries like the US and the UK, compared to like countries such as Sweden and Switzerland, the wealth divide in US and the UK is much greater. And there's a larger percentage of people that are in poverty in the US and UK. And they will spend their money on not the expensive like organic food. They'll probably spend their money on more processed food that's easy to buy, easy to make, ready-made, all the shit that's horrible for your body that gets you sick and cancers down the road. And at the same time, if you compare some of these countries like the Nordic countries to the US and the UK, we can see the divide in our health. And it's not necessarily people's choice fault for the fact that we're just choosing to buy unhealthy food, and we're just choosing that, okay, 6% of my household income is going to be invested in quality food. I think another problem is just that, first of all, the propaganda around how choosing to eat unhealthy and being unhealthy is your fault is the first piece of propaganda, and the second piece of propaganda is that how sugar and food is like so good for you and that it's promoted in our culture. Whereas I think that a lot of these other countries that we look at as more healthy countries, such as Denmark and Sweden, I think they have a culture of eating healthier, and they wouldn't be eating Fruit Loops and orange juice for breakfast over there every single day with pancakes and syrup. And
exactly.
Yeah, I think I took us on a different tangent, but I think that's another problem in the world today with unhealthy eating.
I think it could also be that in the US, people really like material possessions. Maybe they spend more money on that too, and excuse it that way.
Is that a US thing, or is that like a human thing? I mean, I guess the US has a capitalistic culture, but
I feel like it's really shoved in our faces in the US. But yeah, I think it's a human thing. It appeals to, like, our always wanting more stuff, you know.
So you think that our desire for wanting more stuff also is connected to that piece of wanting to eat unhealthy as well?
Yeah, definitely. Because, like, in the end of the day, we're all animals, and we want, like, the best thing that we can get. And in terms of taste, like unhealthy food is gonna taste the best, because to our ancestors, like an oily, sugary, like fast food thing is like such a treat, because it'll keep them like energized for a really long time because of how many calories is in it. But it's just not a good thing in the modern day. So since we're always wanting more, like now we're seeing the downsides of that.
Yeah, because we always prioritize what makes us feel good right now. It's also hard when you don't see the ramifications of it up front. Because the effects of these things, they don't happen right now. They happen 10 years from now when you have your first like health scare or heart attack, and it kind of sneaks up on you because you don't see it coming. And that doesn't necessarily mean that eating anything sweet is bad for you, but I think it's intelligent for people to approach it in two ways. First of all, it shouldn't be something recurring in your diet. That I think for most of the time we eat pretty consistent diet, especially when we're living in a routine somewhere, like we're at school or we're at work, and we end up out of ease. We eat the same thing for breakfast every day. We eat the same thing for lunch, typically the same thing for dinner, right? We're at Peddie, we'll eat what Peddie offers us. We eat what we like at Peddie. And I think the problem lies when some unhealthy item jumps into your routine and it starts getting prolonged. Like if I have a piece of really nice cheesecake every Saturday, it's not going to kill me. But when it gets added to our diet and our routine, it starts to spiral out of control. And I think that's the case with most people in America today.
Yeah, I've noticed it in myself. Just for example, I think in the morning I used to eat a lot healthier. I'd go down to PFS and grab eggs and yogurt or whatever else they had, you know. But these days I don't wake up early enough and I just get like a bagel from the grill and some cream cheese. It's been kind of a habit. So I noticed that too. It's something that you sometimes you can't avoid. It goes back to like what you said about how eating unhealthy isn't always like a choice. Like for me, obviously I've like opportunities to eat really healthy, but sometimes it's inconvenient to do it. But for some people it's like completely impossible. For people who are really poor, like fast food might be their only option. And
it's sad.
Yeah, it's pretty sad and it's pretty crazy too.
And we could say that if we educate them, that sure, maybe they'd invest more money into eating healthy, but I don't think people that are in that position are really up for trying to add another problem to their life when something is so easy in front of them. Yeah. It's scary, man. So, are you still trying to eat clean? Because I know sometimes I think last podcast you mentioned you went 1 year without eating anything unhealthy, and now you're okay with like eating unhealthy once in a while. So how's your mindset developed over time with that?
I mean, like I'm still really young. If I make any bad choices in my diet, I think my body's gonna forgive me really quickly. And sometimes it's just better to have fun. Like if there's like people listening to this and they're really young, there's nothing wrong with them. I think you should like go out with your friends and eat whatever you want. You shouldn't like restrict what you're eating, to be honest. And I think like maybe you notice that after you switch to eating meat, like it's very liberating to be able to eat whatever you want. It's just you should keep an eye on it, and you should identify if you have any addictions forming, because that's definitely possible with food. I don't know if I've already talked about this on your podcast, but
say it again.
Yeah, I actually like started really getting addicted to apple juice this year.
This year again, like recently?
Yeah, I stopped. I cut it out now because I realized, like after wrestling practice, I just really craved it. I'd run to the vending machine and get me a bottle. Then
you used to do that every day?
Huh?
You used to do that every day?
Yeah, I used to get it every day. It's like $2 and it's like 30 something grams of sugar per bottle. But I really noticed it when
30 grams of sugar?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some of these drinks are crazy. Yo, like today I was looking at a can of Arizona. It has like 50 something grams of sugar.
Oh, Arizona's the worst, bro.
Yeah.
I used to drink those too when I used to go to Hot Bagels in like sophomore year. And I think I picked one of them up recently when I was at Hot Bagels. Like, this is OD as fuck.
Yeah, you gotta imagine like how much sugar that is. It's like a whole pile. It's like this much.
Yeah, I remember like the best feeling in the world was when I finished a really hard wrestling practice and I grabbed my water bottle and chugged that shit. It's an amazing feeling. I can see why that
apple juice is even better. It's even better. Yeah, but like I saw that was becoming a problem, and so you have to cut it out. I think that's the same with other food as well. Like if you see an addiction forming, you should cut that out early.
Yeah, and having that awareness that it's there is really important. It's hard to have that awareness, especially if you don't take the time to reflect. I think I've been a pretty big advocate of reflection as one of the most important things in my life, because I don't think that there's any bad life. It's just your ability to look at your life situation, find beauty in it. And I don't think if you take time of the day to reflect, you'll ever be able to find and access that sense of beauty in your current life right now. Because you can be extremely disciplined and following all your rules and structures and everything and be happy there. And you can just be totally fucking around and be happy there. I think it takes time to reflect on it and appreciate it to find the beauty there. Because I'll give you an example. I have this nighttime ritual that I started doing junior winter, where I would just take time to reflect. It'd be time sanctioned out where I would just try to reflect on the day and my position in life and where I am and where I want to be and how I'm going to get there. And just looking back at what I've done and what I've accomplished. And it helped me to bring clarity on my current state of life. Like I'd journal. That's the biggest piece of it. Like I'd write down in my notebook, like my current reflections on my stage of life. And I think a few weeks ago, I kind of stopped doing that routine as much because I prioritized my sleep schedule less. I know I mentioned in the beginning of spring I was back on the 9 to 5:30. I'm not on that anymore. Because I prioritize like spending time with my friends from like 9 to 10:30 and sleep late, and then wake up a little bit later in the morning. And it just so happened that the block of time when I used to reflect, I just stopped reflecting at that time because I'd be with them instead. But when I realized that I really like missed having that period of time to reflect, and I started prioritizing that over even another hour of sleep. Like when I'm done hanging out with them, I go to my room and add that there. I realized that my ability to have clarity in what's even happening in my life just exponentiated as well. So I definitely think having that reflection piece is really important as well.
Yeah, I used to do something pretty similar. Not as structured, but like before I sleep, I always think about like where do I want to go from here, and like what things I've done well and what I need to keep doing. And it's pretty important to do that, I think, because if you have no goals, like especially like like long-term goals, you're not gonna do anything about it.
Yeah, because from now on, about a cough, I would mute the mic. I don't know how it's gonna sound. Other things. So.
Yeah, my bad.
There you go.
Recovering from a cold.
Oh shit.
It's pretty bad. Oh, I was coughing up blood.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I've never had that before.
Yeah, I was coughing up blood.
We'll talk about
the nurse was pretty yeah, we could talk about it in a bit.
Alright, finish your thought. I don't know, what were you just saying? Reflection and
goals,
yeah.
Goals, right. Like the reason like everything I've talked about, all my life experiences and the things that like I've put myself through is because of goals. Like I really want something, and in this case eating healthy is because I want to look better, to be more healthy in my body, and like secure that for myself even later in life when like my body's gonna start falling apart just from age and stress and stuff. I want good habits so that like I can live as long as possible and as happy as possible. But if I didn't have those goals, then I would have no motivation to like not eat the unhealthy foods and to like just not go to the gym today or something like that, you know.
Do you think you have one primary goal that drives you where everything trickles off of that, and every discipline or hard thing you do is in support of that primary goal? Or do you feel like there's just multiple things you want and you set goals individually for each thing, like a goal for eating clean, a goal for lifting in the gym, a goal for my schoolwork? Or do you feel like they're all kind of connected toward one central thing?
I mean, for everybody, I think it's all connected to like having a good life. Like people have different ideas of what a good life is, but some things are like universal. I think having a healthy body will make you a lot happier no matter like where you are in your life at any point in time. So yeah,
I think the thing with healthy body, I think that can so everyone would be happy with a healthy body. I definitely agree with that, but I think the degree to which we value having a healthy body is to an extreme that I don't think other people value. And when I think about like my ultimate goal, I say health is the top, and everything trickles off of that as an example. I really believe that at least over different stages of life we have a central purpose, and that central purpose helps to guide us. And it's good. And for me, I just think because of the way I was raised, I think we both have stories where we look up to our fathers and we see our fathers inspire us to be more healthy, right? Like you mentioned your story with your father, how he quit eating sugar, and after he quit smoking, and after he quit smoking, you were inspired, and you also taught you to do daily push-ups to develop that consistency. And that might have taught you that health is important, and when I set goals and be more healthy, I am more happier. And in the same way, I've noticed my dad always value health. Like before I was born, he used to drink Coca-Cola and soda and a bunch of shit, and he told me that the day I was born, he literally quit it because he knew that if he drank Coca-Cola, I would drink Coca-Cola too. And he quit that for us. And I'm drinking Coca-Cola like 2 or 3 times in my life. Like I literally just don't even enjoy it. And that's a whole separate thing we could talk about how your environment shapes you. But the point is that I think we were both so health driven as like our purpose in life because of the environment we were in. But I don't think that's true for everyone. And I think people have different things that drive them on a day-to-day basis that brings them that sense of joy in life, right? Like for us, it's health. For someone else, it could be becoming a great football player. For someone else, it could be getting to a good college and succeeding in there. For someone else, it could be having as much fun as possible. But I think everyone has something that's different. And I only bring that up because you mentioned that, it's kind of universal for everyone. Everyone wants to have a healthy body. But sometimes we're so caught up in our own life that we forget that some things these are really unique to us, you know?
Yeah. I think everybody needs like a central purpose, that everything else is tied to. Because just for example, like for me, health ties to so many other aspects of my life. Like maybe like social life. I think when I was starting off, like going to the gym and eating healthier, like I didn't really have like a social life at Peddie at all. I just stayed in my room all day. But for me,
was it sophomore year?
Yeah, like freshman and sophomore year, I didn't really like.
You hit the mute button. We'll call it the cough button.
But going to the gym and eating healthier gave me the confidence to talk to more people and get to like know others better and like put myself out there. And it's tied to like nutrition and health because being healthy is tied to how good you look, and how good you look is tied to how you perform like socially when you're with other people. And so I also find that health is tied to like academics and grades. If I sleep earlier, I feel so much better the next day, so much more productive. And like so many aspects of my life are tied back to health and nutrition. And for other people, their central purpose might be something else. Like if they're a football player, like maybe their social life comes from playing football, you know, talking to their teammates and their fans, whatever it has to be.
That's interesting. I think there's another interesting piece of your story that I saw that I'll bring back by telling a story. I kind of suck at spike ball. And I remember the first time I played spike ball this year, there were some just guys outside, and I decided to go play with them because they called me over and they needed a guy, right? And I played, and I remember how bad I felt playing with them. Like I was literally like, the ball came, I hit it the total opposite direction. Like I mean, I was pretty bad when I played with you guys, but I was like 10 times worse when I first started playing.
Not bad.
Yeah, when I first started playing, you'd be like, who the fuck is this kid? So yeah, I really, really sucked. And I remember the first time I just ended up playing spike ball and realized how much worse I was than everyone else. I went to my room feeling this really weird feeling. And when I reflected on what the feeling that I felt that I was unable to describe, it was a feeling that I felt earlier in my childhood. Maybe in 5th, 6th, 7th grade, where all my friends are playing basketball, I go play basketball with them, but I suck at basketball. And I airball every shot, I don't know how to throw the ball, my hand-eye coordination's off, someone throws me a pass and I miss the ball. Being the worst one on the basketball team.
Yeah.
Being the worst one when we played any type of game, like, we're playing Foursquare, I'm the worst one there. Playing Gaga with them, I'm the worst one there. And I remember that throughout most of my middle school, I had a really poor self-image because, first of all, I went to a private middle school with about 30, 40 kids. So even though I'd say I'm smart academically, I didn't feel that way at the time because everyone around me was smart academically as well.
Yeah.
So at the time I didn't feel I was that great academically. I suck at all the sports I play. I suck socially. And that period from 5th, 6th, 7th grade was a really weird time because I had a low self-image. I felt like when I looked at myself and I thought of myself, I think me and you think right now because we've achieved so much in our life that okay, if we don't have something in life, if we have some lack, we can really easily overcome that lack by setting a goal and achieving it. But if you think back to your own childhood, maybe you didn't think that way all the time. Because the way I thought about life is, okay, this is my life and I accept it and it can't change. This is who I'll be for the next 100 years of my life. A guy with low self-image, a guy that sucks at sport and sucks at everything. But the energy carried over. I had a pretty good 7th and 8th grade. I was pretty happy back then. But still, I think that energy carried over into COVID, which hit, and I'm basically in my rooms playing video games all day, wasting my time. And it carries over into my freshman year, which was really bad. I was in a really similar situation to you, where I was just in my room all the time. I wasn't a boarder, so I'd be going home all the time. I was hybrid. I was barely here, barely social, like not hanging out with anyone. Even when I tried being social, I kind of sucked at it. And that just contributed from the low self-image that exponentiated through COVID, where in my freshman year, I have a really, really poor self-image. But a funny thing happened the next summer. My dad was going to the gym, and I started going to the gym with him at like Planet Fitness, and I mean, I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I was moving random weights and shit, but it was like, I enjoyed it. The gym was one of those things where I enjoyed it from the first day. Like, I never had that period of I hate the gym. Like, I enjoyed it from the first day. It was interesting, it was fun, it was new. And maybe I didn't realize it, but slowly as I started going to the gym and realizing I can do shit that I didn't think, like, I think the gym is interesting because you can see progress really easily, even if it's not on your body, but in the weight you do.
Yeah.
I think the gym was the first time I taught myself I can actually push a weight and like increase that weight over time. So I guess the self-image started to improve there. But then again, something really special happened my sophomore fall. And I think this thing can be synonymous to maybe you going to the gym. It was a magical time when, for the first time in both of our lives, we had a positive self-image. Where maybe you went to the gym and you started to grow your social, like you before freshman year, you were pretty antisocial, but now you go to the gym and all of a sudden you're improving in the gym and your whole social life and everything grows from there, and you're a lot more happier and fulfilled now in life with the things you've achieved. And at the same time in sophomore year for me, that was getting into like the first friend group that I really felt connected to and really felt like deeply bonded to, which was Yang's friend group with all those, like all of them. Like that was the first time I really felt like I was in a strong friend group and really happy and fulfilled there. And for the first time, my self-image improved. When it was so low for all this time, my self-image improved. And I think that self-image acts in a positive feedback loop. Because this is your self-image right here.
Yeah.
Imagine an arrow pointing toward your actions. I think your actions are dependent on your self-image. Because if you have a poor self-image, you're not going to take much action. And if you don't take much action, you won't get much results. But if you have a really positive self-image, you'll take a lot of actions. Like if you think you're like a jack guy, you'll probably go to the gym a lot, and then you'll get the results that you deserve.
Yeah.
That takes up exponentially. And I think that's exactly what happened the last 3 years of my life, and I can kind of see that in you as well, knowing who you are as a freshman.
Yeah.
That we just needed that one small stimulus to put us on the upward trend. And when I realized that I can actually go to the gym and improve there and like actually make friends, all of a sudden I was able to achieve a shit ton more. Where my social life grew a lot, and I realized I was actually a pretty decently social guy throughout sophomore year. Then I started doing cross country the next year, which I was like, holy shit, I can do that shit. Then I went and wrestled, which for me, that's when it really even took off even more. That, oh shit, I can go to wrestling room and wrestle varsity. That like, 90% of people couldn't do it at the time. And for me, that was like, wow, this is really cool. I can do this shit. The next spring, I'm going like elite wrestling, where like there's like legit like D1 guys over there. And I felt like, wow, I actually have that positive self-image. And even I'm a part of like storyline in like fall term my junior year when I realized that I had like a lot of confidence, and I think slowly it started to build as like self-image took off. And I think we both came to a place with time, and you can even look at the things you've achieved in the last 3 years, like how much like happier and fulfilled you became through setting goals and achieving them. I just think that in addition to the gym like being your source of social life, I also think it might have been like the first time you started to see yourself in that positive way. But would you agree with that? Or?
Yeah, I definitely would. Yeah, I think the gym was the first time I saw like progress like visibly. Like you said, like every time you go to the gym, how much weight you could pick up would be a little bit different. Even if you don't look any different, you're gonna be stronger, and you can see that. And it's almost like a video game, kind of. Like before going to the gym, like, you know, I try to work out. I try to do like pull-ups and push-ups and stuff. Like you don't see that change day to day, week to week, even month to month, even. Like you might not see any difference at all. You're at one pull-up, you might be stuck at one pull-up. Yeah. You know, if you're at 20 push-ups, you might be like at 20 or 21. But maybe you just like took a shit beforehand and you're a bit lighter. So you don't really see progress until you go into the gym but then you see it like as a number. So it's exactly like a video game in that like you go there and you get kind of an instant gratification kind of thing, because that's why
really
video games
too.
are very quickly. Like that's why I like benching so much, is because of like instant gratification, to be honest. It's like
it feels so good pushing you too. It's like it's so good, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like if you get a reward after beating a level instantly, you're gonna want to play the next level. Versus beforehand, why would I want to like do push-ups and pull-ups every day besides like, you know, an overarching goal? Like a little bit of instant gratification is kind of a good thing for you in terms of motivation. If it's for something good, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Well, I don't think I call it instant gratification. Just because, only because, I think it's a good term to use, just because we use instant gratification in a different way when we've talked before, as in scrolling on TikTok.
Yeah, it's not like a smoking or phone.
It's more like
instant gratification. Yeah,
it's a good word to describe it.
Quicker, slightly quicker than long term. It's like in between.
It's definitely delayed gratification, but it's more that I can't think of a word. For the first time in your life, you actually see results.
Yeah.
Quick results.
Yeah.
For putting in effort. Like you feel kind of shitty, but like really quickly within a few days and weeks, you start to see that this is possible. I mean, I remember that's how I felt. I stepped in the gym for the first time freshman year in May, just because I think it was like max the turnout going to the gym. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go too. And I couldn't even bench the bar. I was like wobbly all over the place. So I think I just assumed that all the you know the squat rack, and it has all the holes in the side where you put the weights on. Yeah. Someone was set up on the squat rack. Yeah. And I thought that the squat bar was also a thing with the weights on it. So I literally took weight off of someone's squat bar and put it on my thing, like thinking it was that. And she got so pissed at me. But like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just walked in the gym and I asked Marvin, "Yo, what am I supposed to be doing here?" He's like, "Oh, go do those tricep cable things." So I started doing the things that I just left. Like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but really quickly, like the next week, I put 5 on both sides and 10 on both sides, and then I got up to like 180 pounds a few years later. So I think it's definitely a place where the gamification piece is really interesting as well, because I think the gamification applies so much to how we're designed as humans, the reward system that we've evolved with over time. That if you can find a way to gamify something, you'll enjoy working toward that goal a lot.
It's interesting that we're calling it like gamifying something, because in reality it's kind of like games and phones and stuff have hacked like our biology. Not like we're trying to hack our biology, but like trying to pretend to be like everything's like a game. It's like the other way around, you know, because we came first, and phones and games are taking advantage of our reward system and giving us gratification that's even faster than going to the gym. By the way, is it on right now?
Yeah. Oh, if that would have been so sad. We wouldn't have not lost that much, but yeah, we're good.
One sec.
Yeah, the only reason I said that is because those coughs are loud as fuck.
Yeah, they're
with Audacity too. It's been picking up a lot of background noise, and those coughs, it's gonna hate those coughs. Okay. Yeah. So we can't.
Do we want to move on to that topic?
We can. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my god, yo, I was coughing up blood.
Oh, this topic?
Yeah, this topic.
Tell me.
Like, it was pretty damn bad.
Has this ever happened to you before?
Coughing up blood?
Yeah.
Like a little bit. But like, I think if you cough for like an extended period of time, which I was doing, I was coughing like 5 times a minute. Or more, honestly. Like, I couldn't open up my mouth. If I started talking, I would start coughing. Like, I would just try to be silent for most of the day.
Wow.
It's like, it's been like happening for a week. Now it's getting a lot better.
So, is this a normal cold, or what is the deal?
I don't know. I thought it's something crazy. I don't know. It's like,
because most people don't cough up blood. You know, it's not a normal thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's from the virus. It's just like physical, like irritation from
New
coughing
COVID
so much. Maybe it's created one.
So how long has it been going on for?
Like around like a week.
A week.
Yeah, it's a lot better now though.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So was there any of the symptoms that were like bothering you?
Yeah, I had a fever. I had to take tests.
Oh man.
Like this too. I had to take my anatomy.
So I
think I bombed it. I probably got like a 50 on that thing.
Bro, my grades this term not looking too good.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My midterms were pretty bad. Just because mixed media is kind of kicking my ass a little bit.
Mixed media?
Yeah. You were pretty good at art, right?
Yeah.
You're in studio?
Yeah. Last year I was in studio, not this year.
Bro, I mean, I feel like the projects I do are not even that bad.
Uh-huh.
I think the grading is really difficult in that class, but
Yeah.
I'll show you what I worked on one of these days. I made the first project was a shield, and I made a lung. I think a shield for breathing or something. It's pretty. I think it was pretty cool. Do I have photos of it? Look out! I might have a photo of it on my computer. I'll pull it up, but you can say something in the meantime so we don't lose any audio. What's the happiest moment of your life?
Happiest moment of my life. I don't think I've gotten there yet.
So far.
Hopefully it's in.
You'd say you're a happy guy, right?
I'm a happy guy. I'm a pretty happy guy. What about you? Are you a happy guy?
I'd say I'm a happy guy.
You're a happy guy?
I mean, I think to say you're a happy guy doesn't mean you're always happy. It just means that you're more of a witness of the unhappiness and realize it for what it really is, and then you're like okay with it.
Go.
Next thing I know, I'm gonna see blood all over the floor.
Yep.
Where is this? All right, here we go. Here's my shield. Turn me up. You like it? This is like the side pick. So the project was to think about one of your biggest fears.
What's your biggest fear?
And I kind of think of a fear because I'm a fearless guy. It's pretty good. It's not that bad, right?
Oh, it reminds me of like lungs.
Yeah, it's a lung. That's what it is. Anyways, so I just chose choking because...
You're afraid of choking?
I just tried to pick something.
Okay.
And I kind of am. Like
what kind?
sometimes
like water?
when I'm
water?
on like food.
Oh shit.
It's like even today I was eating like a lot of chicken and the naan bread with it that they were serving at PFS, and every now and then I just like slow down and like, wait, am I eating too fast? Am I about to choke? And I do have that fear. I'll tell you where it came from.
Okay.
It was fall term of my senior year, and it was right before long weekend, and usually I leave like, I think it was a Friday night before the long weekend, and the dorms were closing either that night or the next morning, and they didn't have dinner open that day. So they had dinner in the grill for whoever's on campus. There's probably like 20, 30 kids there that went out and ate that. But I decided to go eat there. They had Manino's pizza, they had pasta, they had garlic bread, the big thick, like the one you get from Manino's, you know what I mean? Like, you probably had that off the wrestling practice, wrestling meets. Yeah, there's mad heads there. There was a lot of sophomores. I think I was sitting with Brock, and there were some juniors over there. And no, Brock came later. I was sitting with Justin Wang. My roommate, and I eat a piece of bread, and it's a really buttery bread, and it's easy to swallow a big piece of it, and I swallowed a pretty big piece of it.
Oh shit!
And I started choking on it right there.
Oh shit!
And I was
Did they have to do like CPR on you?
No, it wasn't that bad, but it was pretty bad. I was choking on it, I was like coughing, I was trying to get it out, and Justin was kind of just staring at me, and I take a sip of the water, and it didn't work, and then I have water in my mouth and the food in the thing,
shit.
And I was all falling on the floor and shit, and the funniest part that everyone was just staring at me, not knowing what the fuck to do. No one called anyone, they're just looking at me.
You gotta do the thing where they're like, it's like the...
Well, I'm kind of like just like all walking all over the place, like trying to get their attention, and just everyone's staring at me, and then 20 seconds later it's like, guys, I think he's choking. But thank God I was able to cough it out. Otherwise, I don't know. I did end up coughing it out, and everyone kind of stared at me, and it was pretty awkward.
That's pretty crazy.
But, I'm scared of choking, so I made this shit.
I've choked on a fish bone before.
Oh yeah?
That's pretty bad. Because I feel like in America, when you order fish, like they don't have any bones in it. But in Chinese food, like Chinese people like eat it with the bones in. They just like, you know, they can like deal with it.
Yeah, they're probably used to it.
I was just a kid, so I didn't know how, and I started choking on a fucking fish bone. It was pretty scary.
How old were you?
I don't remember.
My dad told me a story once where I believe, so he has two brothers, and I believe his whole family was out somewhere, and he was in the home by himself, and his mother was out, and I believe the power went out, or the lights were off, I don't know. The lights were off for some reason, they couldn't turn them on, and he had a glass of water somewhere in the kitchen that he's trying to find. He had a glass of water, and right next to the water filter thing where he got the water from, and he was reaching around in the kitchen looking for it, and he found the glass of water, and he drank it, and he realized it wasn't water, it was oil.
Oh my god.
And he started choking right there.
Oh fuck.
And it was really bad, but out of, I don't know, God's luck, his mom walked in the door like literally like a minute later, and he was safe. Otherwise maybe I wouldn't.
That's pretty crazy.
But yeah, if his mom was out for like maybe another 5 minutes, he couldn't.
You have like a nuclear poop after.
Maybe I gotta ask him that part of the story as well. But yeah, that's pretty crazy, man. I mean, choking. anytime where you can't breathe.
Yeah, you're not into it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm scared of drowning as well, but not really. Like I can't say that I'm scared of drowning, but the idea of not being able to breathe has always been kind of scary. Because then you're in a helpless state. What are you supposed to do if you can't breathe? Because even if you're trying to fight a bear or something, like, you can at least know what you're doing. You're present in the moment you're doing it. But if you can't breathe, like, how are you supposed to save yourself if there's no one else there?
Yeah, that's fair.
What's your biggest fear?
Biggest fear. I'm thinking about this one. Probably like a shark, probably.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, that's not my biggest fear. They're pretty scary though. Like, imagine being in the ocean.
I think that a shark.
There's no shore inside.
If you're deep in the ocean, it's actually easier to survive a shark attack than like a lion or something. From what I've heard.
Why? Like, you can't really throw. Like, think about it. You could scare off like a lion.
The reason is because like the way. I think the way shark I might be wrong, but from what I've heard from friends, the way shark vision works and the way the shark doesn't want you, but it will attack you if you're in the way. In terms of what it wants to eat and stuff, a shark does not want to eat you. So what I've heard to survive a shark attack, that's fine. It's supposed to work. Oh, the battery came out. Fuck.
Oh shit.
It was recording though, right?
It was like a second ago.
Yeah, it's still recording. It only has like 4 minutes left though. Anyways. Yeah, so apparently to survive a shark attack, you literally have to touch the shark and like guide it this way and it'll literally just swim past you.
Oh, for real?
So you apparently have to re-guide the way the shark is swimming.
Okay. Maybe not a shark then, maybe like a MacLeod or something.
How's
or like a giant.
Is that even real?
Yeah.
Megalodon?
Yeah, they're real. That? I've seen a video of it like on.
Well, what is it though?
It's like a huge shark.
Oh,
it might be like prehistoric.
So it's not a shark.
Like, it might not be around anymore.
Oh yeah, I'm scared of the ancient creatures. God damn, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
what's your biggest fear?
My real biggest fear besides choking?
It's gotta be really deep.
My biggest fear is a life where I become comfortable with complacency.
That's deep.
I accept my life the way it is when I secretly know in the back of my mind I want better. And I wouldn't say I'm really scared of it because I don't think I'll ever go there. But there have been times where I think to myself, what if I end up in a space where I'm just kind of accept things the way they are and don't strive for something better? Because I think striving for something better is a good thing. Obviously, you want to find a place where you're able to find gratitude and fulfillment. And
yeah, that's what I was about to say. And like, you got to be grateful at one
I think I'm pretty grateful for life and I'm pretty satisfied while simultaneously grinding for more. But I think it's possible to live in the middle. I don't think you have to choose one or the other. I think people portray these people like Elon Musk as unhappy and stuff because they're always chasing. I think you can be happy and chasing at the same time. Yeah, I agree. Maybe it's my life mission to see if that's true or not by trial and error. But I think I'm in that spot right now where I'm grateful but still working. But when I talk about comfortable complacency, it's more that you'll know when you're there. Because you'll get this feeling every now and then that I want more. Or you'll get this feeling every now and then that, okay, this is good enough. In a way. Where I think a perfect example is you work a job you don't like, but you justify it by having like fun on the weekends. I think that's the prime place where most people are in. When we talk about comfortable complacency, where I'm not saying you have to love your job like it's some magical golden thing. Like, you can have a normal job and enjoy it, but we are the type of people that really, really hate their job but justify it by like partying on the weekends. That's, I think, comfortable complacency because you hate most of your life for a little bit of pleasure. You're
scared of that?
Yeah. Okay. I would want to be in a place where I always have the clarity to be able to access like what I really want and find a way to make that a reality in my life.
You don't want to be stuck with something. Yeah. That's a valid fear. I think, to speak on the gratitude thing, I think you're never going to be truly happy until you're grateful. But like, that's why there's like monks and stuff, like they don't have anything. Like, they're complacent, I guess, with literally nothing. Like, just the clothes.
I wouldn't call monks complacent.
Why not? The complacent.
Because what do we define as complacent? What would you define as complacent?
Complacent as in... Complacent as in like not wanting anymore.
Well, I mean, what do you think about the word complacent? Like, how would you define it?
Being complacent is not wanting anymore. Just that simple definition. It's like being complacent is when you don't want anything more.
I never thought of it. I think the way I define complacency is let me think about the best way to put this.
I feel like that's when you boil it down. It's just
accepting a situation you don't like. Maybe I'm being complacent with it. Because if I... So what was your definition again?
I think
not wanting more.
You have like very negative things associated with it. I think there is like in our lives right now. I don't think I should be complacent right now, and I don't think you should be complacent right now, because there's so much more for us to do.
Well, let's break down both definitions. So your definition is not wanting more.
Yeah.
Right. I can be... See, the word complacent is always like a bit of negative association in my mind. Yeah. For example, if I'm going out and I love my life a lot and I'm partying a lot, I wouldn't call myself complacent. Because complacency is this dichotomy feeling I get when I'm accepting something less than what I actually want. Is that how? Because if I... Okay, so sorry, let me try to think about this. Yeah. Your definition is not wanting more.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm like really happy in life and have an amazing family and I have a bunch of kids and I go out and do what I do every day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call myself complacent because even though I don't really want anything more. Like this is exactly like I feel like I'm in a place right now where I don't want anything more.
Okay, what would you call it then? I would just call it like happy complacent. Like a good complacent.
Okay, let's look at the actual definition of complacency.
Yeah.
Alright, that camera's out, that's fine. At least we have these two running now. What is complacency? Complacent. Definition.
The actual definition is probably like not like rebelling or something.
Showing smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself and one's achievement. So not being satisfied with your achievements.
No, being satisfied with your achievements. It's being satisfied with your achievements.
Smug. It says showing uncritical satisfaction with one's achievement.
Like you're satisfied with what you've done and you don't think you could have done any better.
Is that what it's saying?
Yeah. Like it's like looking back on life and you're like, wow, I did everything right. I don't want any more. I can't change anything. Like,
but I don't think that's complacency. That's not like when I think of complacency, that's not what I think about.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the definition is not like always how you use a word, and I feel like yeah.
Well, I guess let's forget about the word.
Yeah, the word. Let's just talk about like what.
Let's think about the concept.
Yeah, the concept.
So I guess if I remove the word, it's more about being okay with a life being accepting of a situation when I'm not satisfied with it.
I don't think that's ever... I'm never going to be like that.
You think so?
Yeah.
But don't you think a lot of people
are in
that situation?
I think that's a bad thing. I agree with you. That kind of complacent is like a bad complacent.
Okay.
That's like... that's how like dictators and stuff like rule their people, you know.
I think so.
That's like that kind of complacent. Like they're like they don't think they could do anything about it, kind of complacent.
Yeah, that's a good way to say
it.
You can't do anything about it. That's actually a good way to say it.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about it, so I will accept it. That encapsulates.
I think they're like I kind of had a mentality like that at one point. Like you kind of just dealt the cards that you're dealt. Like I don't know, genetically. Let's just talk about like the gym. Like,
did you think about that when you were younger, or like when did you think like that?
Like when I was younger, but like not really young. Because like when I'm really young, obviously I'm not gonna be pondering.
Like, what age are we talking about here?
Like freshman year, maybe.
Okay.
Freshman year. Yeah.
So these are the.
I'm just thinking like, damn, like whatever I do, I might never be like. Never be like a top athlete or like the best at whatever I do. And I'm like, damn, like that's just because of like who I was born as, where I was born in, and stuff like that. And then I kind of got complacent. I'm thinking like what am I doing everything for? And if you start developing that kind of mindset, like you're being complacent. Like I realized that after a while because like something else kind of kicked in, which is the gratitude thing.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Yeah, I realized like I've been thinking about it wrong. Like yeah, I'm never going to be the best person in the world at something, but like I think I'm pretty blessed to be in this position, to have the opportunities that were given to me, and I should be taking advantage of that. So that's like the opposite of complacency is like having, or not the opposite of complacency, but it's like related to complacency, and it's like having gratitude. And that kind of kicked me out of being like completely complacent. And yeah.
I think the ideal place to be is not totally on this left side where we're so happy and grateful that we are incapable of action, and not totally on the right side where we're so dissatisfied that we'll never be satisfied with any achievement, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to pick one or the other. I think we should be slightly dissatisfied to a degree that gets us to have agency to go work hard while still practicing gratitude and appreciating what we are in our life.
That's the thing. Like at one point it bordered, like the opposite of complacency is like the grind, you know?
Yes.
And at one point that becomes an insecurity.
Okay.
I noticed that like on vacations, like I wouldn't let myself have fun. I'd be looking for like a gym at the hotel. I'm like, where's the gym at the hotel? Like they don't have a bench here?
Well, I think that comes to a different point.
Vacation ruined, you know? Like then you can't enjoy life.
No. I see. Like, I've been there
that's
before.
That's the grind. Yeah.
I would say that is a different point. So discipline is good for us. It's good for our health. It's good for everything. But when we became... Alright, bro. But there's a point when we go so deep into the discipline and the hard work that it becomes our identity.
Yeah.
And when it becomes our identity... It's
not very healthy.
It's our source of joy. That I love myself because of the things I do, not because of who I am. And I saw this one person who went on a mushroom trip and he had this realization that the thing that he wrote was, do people love me for who I am or for the things I do? And then...
Like he was asking himself that?
Yeah, he thought about that. Think about that for a second. Do people love you for who you are or for the things you do? And then the second thing he asked him, well, do I love myself for who I am or for the things I do? And then for me, and it looks like for you, we start to love ourselves so much because of the fact that we're so disciplined and we go to the gym. And the second you pull that away from us, it's almost like, then who are we? And that's when it becomes an insecurity, that we need that external thing, which is the discipline, the waking up at 5:30 in the morning, the hard grind, the not eating sugar, to reinforce that sense of identity that pulled us out of whatever life we had before and gave us that joy. And then we crave that. And then the real question is, how do we find that balance? Because it's good to do the things that make us feel good about ourselves.
Yeah.
But we also want to be able to be free from that. I think the whole goal of our life is to be free. I think in addition to health, I think one overarching theme of life, for me, at least me, has been freedom. And the discipline frees you from your unhealthy habits, but that you can also become a slave to the discipline itself. And you should be able to be free from that, right? That we should be able to reach a point where we go on a 2-week vacation and be totally free of not feeling the need to be disciplined in order to derive that sense of identity again.
Yeah.
And that's when it gets hard, because then it's like, okay, am I being a bitch or am I being free? And it's this weird balance you have to find for yourself, but I think the goal should be to find yourself in a place where you rotate between different kinds of lifestyles. I think that gives you the most perspective, at least.
Yeah, I think the problem comes up when you start when you start valuing yourself for like what you do rather than what you feel, because there's tons of people who just live life to feel good, you know, like going out and partying or like playing video games inside all day. Like their purpose in life is just to feel as happy as possible. And so they never have that conflict inside of them where they're not sure if they're doing the right thing. But like,
ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, but when you're like, I'm happy when I go to the gym and I'm eating good and healthy, I feel really happy after it because I know I'm doing the right disciplined thing. But the problem arises when like I can't do that anymore. You know?
Do what anymore? Discipline?
Like, yeah, I can't do discipline anymore because like I don't know, like vacation or something, and like I won't let myself have fun. Because it's kind of like our brains are rewired into thinking that being disciplined is fun. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're not fun, but like that's your purpose. Because some people, their purpose is happiness, but for others, like the purpose is like success. But you know, like a week or two of just relaxing isn't gonna hinder your progress to whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah, and I don't think it's even about the progress at this point, right? It's
Yeah.
about that insecurity and identity piece, right?
Yeah.
I would say that I was in a similar spot last summer where I was really disciplined last spring. That's when I remember I told you like last winter I started being more disciplined. Spring term was a reflection of that where I'm following the Google Calendar, I'm doing my daily habits. I don't miss a single day. Like every single day I'm doing my habits. And that continued on to the first 3 weeks of summer when I'm at home and I'm doing my thing and I'm being disciplined. And I go to New Hampshire for my EXP lab and it totally destroys all the discipline for the first time since I started doing it, right? Because back in the previous fall of my junior year, I wasn't a disciplined guy in terms of the lifestyle I lived following that. And then for the first time in my life, I was really disciplined, like winter, spring, then early summer. So the first time where it broke and I wasn't able to do it as much anymore when I was in New Hampshire. And it was a weird time for me, those 8 weeks, because what it began as like, wow, I have to sit here in this office from 9 to 5 a day. I'm literally not gonna have any time to do what I actually want to do. Like I'm not getting any sunlight while I'm in here. I'm sitting behind the computer screen. I'm sitting down all day. Like all the habits, like I got my sit-up desk in my room. I have this, I have that. I have the fact that I try to go outside as much as possible. All that out the window. 30-minute commute time every day, it adds up more. There was just so many things that continued to destroy my routine. And with time as well, I started to get a desire for the first time that I don't feel like being disciplined anymore. I feel like having fun. And, you know, I want to like go out and explore New Hampshire, with, like whether that be going on hikes on the weekends with my family, like talking to like the guys and the girls at the gym I was going to, like going to the beach that was like literally a 5-minute drive from our house, just hanging out there, hanging out on my grass and going fishing with him. Like there's all these desires that started popping in my head, but for some reason, because I became so engulfed in the discipline, I thought those are all bad, stay away from those as much as possible. I would go on a 2-week hiking trip with my parents over the weekend and I would come back looking at my weight and I'm like, oh my god, I lost so much weight from all this cardio I did, I'm not going to make progress tonight. Like, I was really in that rough state for a few weeks, but I think if I go back to the journals of that time, maybe I can look at how my thought process changed, but I think near the end of it, I was more okay with being less disciplined and I allowed myself to kind of lean into those desires for the last few weeks and I actually found I was happier. Because I was doing what I really wanted to do, like whether it be like hanging out with like there was luckily the gym I went to there's a lot of like guys and girls my age, so I was able to like socialize with them and everything. And I kind of leaned into those desires more, and I found I was more happier. And the beautiful thing was that when I went home after low-key having a nice 3-4 end of the weeks there at Michigan, at New Hampshire, I really enjoyed that time. When I went home, all of a sudden I'm so disciplined again, and that's what taught me that. Having periods of time where you're not disciplined gives you the perspective and clarity to appreciate the discipline more. If you don't enjoy the discipline, then forcing yourself to be disciplined won't make you happy. But when you go and you experience the other lifestyle where you're having fun and just fucking around, and you go back to the discipline, you love the discipline that much more. Yeah. Because literally for most of this year I've been pretty disciplined. Like fall term, my discipline was pretty heavy in terms of, I don't think, I might have missed 2 days the entire term of waking up past 5:30, including Saturdays and Sundays. Like, if I think back to it now, it's like, it's kind of fucking insane that I never woke up past 5:30, never slept past 9. And am I that disciplined right now? No, but I'm leaning, because I don't really feel like being disciplined at this stage of my life. It's senior spring and I want to go out and like do more shit. And same here. And this is the first time where I don't feel guilty about it. Because the same way you felt guilty about it when you're on your trip, The same way I felt guilty about it when I was in New Hampshire. I didn't feel
really
guilty.
Reflect on that.
Like, I really just felt like I just want to hang out with my friends. I just want to watch the Knicks game. I just want to fuck around and eat junk food. I literally started doing that.
Yeah.
And I don't feel bad about it. Because I know as soon as I go home this summer, it's going to go like that and I'm going to be disciplined all summer
It's
again.
because you got to think about, like, why are you being disciplined in the first place? It's to have fun eventually.
Yeah.
Like, right now, there's like mainly two things you could be disciplined and like focus on as a student. Like your body, physically how you look, how healthy you are, and academics. And what that leads to, I think for me, like physically it's for like social stuff, and then academically for me it's like to have money in the future that I could spend to have fun. And both those things like link to like having fun, like the ability to have more fun in the future, right? But like if that's my goal in life, is to eventually have a lot more fun, then when an easy opportunity to have fun comes up right now, like why not take it? And that's the thing you gotta like think about in your head, just like you're delaying the gratification a bit too much.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that thing where they tell the kids like if they give them a marshmallow or something, and if you wait like 10 minutes, I'll give you like 5. Right? And some kids can wait and some kids can't. But like in this case, on vacation, that's like telling the kid,
wait for 10 years to get 10 marshmallows.
Yeah, or I could just give it to you right now.
Yeah.
Like which one? Like, yeah, you're gonna take it right now, right? So
100%.
Yeah.
So the other idea I had was, you say having fun. The way I think about it is, I don't think having fun, I don't use that terminology just because I think having fun can also have a bad connotation in some cases, but the word I like to use a lot is epic. Do epic shit. Is waking up every day at 5:30, being extremely disciplined about your diet and your health epic? I think it's pretty epic. But if you really want to be out socializing with your friends and like fucking around and having a good time, but you're sitting in your dorm reading your book before you go to bed at 9 o'clock, is that epic anymore? Or is that just kind of, you're stuck to the routine? Kind of it's not epic anymore. Yeah. And the second I feel like it's not epic anymore, I change it. And if you can strive to live in an epic way and just do epic shit, then you'll always lean toward the thing that's probably going to make you more happy. And I only started having that mindset recently with the podcast because I talked to some kids, some people that are so impressive in their ability to do epic shit. Mr. Bennett is the first time I internalized his idea of being epic. Literally episode 22, I'm sitting there on a Sunday during wrestling season and I hear Ryan Bennett talk for 2.5 hours about how he always wanted triathlons, how he ran 50 miles, how he's wrestling, coaching, how he's obsessed with like doing more. Like, he does a shit to firefighting, the tech office. He does a lot. And the second I walk away from that, I had one lesson from that podcast. I gotta do more epic shit, which is just, it could be anything. It could literally just be like going out and getting in trouble.
Yeah.
It could be making some amazing artwork through the podcast. It could be anything that's epic. And then literally just what are we on? This is episode 34. Literally 2 episodes ago, I had my college counselor from Peddie on, and I learned so much about her life that was so epic that I didn't know before. So for the last 9 years, she and her husband have been pet sitting for their clients and staying at their client's house as a pet sit. They haven't had a permanent residence or a place to live in 9 years.
Oh, that's crazy.
And they literally move around. For the first few years, they would move every 3-4 days.
Damn.
Around New York City. And they
would have like belongings? Or
yeah, they would like literally bring a backpack with them, bro. They'd be city bikes around New York City, pet sitting for clients, saving so much money, not having to pay rent. Like literally they would stay in people's houses for rent free, and now they do more long-term stays, and they've expanded their business where they literally do a 2-month pet sit in Israel, 6-month pet sit in Japan. Like it's insane.
That's crazy.
And they have to travel the world working online as like a college counselor, which she makes a lot of bank off because she's a pretty good college counselor. It's expensive, and she does pet sitting.
That's crazy.
Like just do epic shit. Like why are you sitting in your room for, bro? Like there's so much, any lifestyle you want is possible, but we just get blocked by the reasons we can't do something. You know?
That's deep. That's also like, I've never heard of anybody doing that.
Well, alright, man. We're gonna keep talking. We can talk about philosophy if you want, but we're about 1:15, so I know you gotta watch movies.
Yeah.
We gotta keep going or what?
I think we should wrap it up for today.
Wrap it up?
Yeah.
We'll do another one though.
Yeah, come back.
Because it's always fun with you.
Yeah.
Another great discussion about art projects and chicken and finding happiness. Nothing to do with you though.
Yep. Enjoy the chicken.
Alright, good night.
Have a good night.
If you enjoyed that episode, then you're gonna love this episode right here. Make sure you click here to watch that video, and don't forget to like and subscribe.